But yeah, I guess without further ado, I'll introduce our lovely guest today. We've got Jackie or Jacqueline Lee from Accenture. I actually worked with her, absolute sweetheart. So I hope you guys all really enjoy her presentation. It's gonna be really great about how they use AWS at Accenture, and also you can learn a bit more about the kind of dev team that really drives the gears beneath Accenture technology. So it's gonna be a really exciting chat. Thanks for coming, guys. I know it's kind of close to exams, so I really appreciate everybody being here. But yeah, I hope it's really enjoyable. Jackie, take it away.
Oh, I just want to check. Can you guys hear me? And can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, good. Yeah, like Nikki said, thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, and it's very close to exams, so really good luck on that for you guys. Yeah, and thanks also just to like take an hour just to listen to us speak about this. Did indeed work with Nikki before, and yeah, it's he came in as an intern, so we'll go through a little bit of maybe have him share like his experiences while working with us a little bit down the track, if you don't mind, Nikki. So I'll just get this kicked off. So today we'll be running through a AWS workshop, and yes, like Nikki mentioned, we use quite a lot of AWS in our day-to-day work. I will start off with who we are. So today I'm here with Chong as well, who also has his video shared. I am a UX developer working in MyWizard, and yeah, like as explained, I do UX design, but also at the same time do front-end development. And then we use Agile in our day-to-day work. And yeah, that's a brief about me. I'm also a graduate from UNSW, and I did software engineering, and I graduated about 2 years ago. Chong, did you want to give an introduction of yourself?
Yeah. Hey, Jack. Thanks. So, hi everyone. Thank you for making time to come to this prezo. My name is Chong. I'm a backend developer at Accenture, and I've been here for about 2 years. Like Jack, I am also a graduate from UNSW. I graduated last year.
Cool. Thanks, Chong. So I'm just going to go through the agenda. So the first thing I'll run through will be the housekeeping, and then speak to you about a little Accenture and MyWizard Op introduction, AI Ops, and then give you an overview of cloud and AWS. And then Chong will run you through a workshop that we've prepared, and also speak about grad roles or internship opportunities, and also have some time for QA at the end. So some housekeeping stuff. So we would really encourage questions to be asked. If you just message we're kind of like thinking if you can do the workshop alongside us, then that's great. If you have an AWS account, then everything should be set up. Maybe you want to set it up now. And then also if you have any issues just going through the workshop, just message in chat, or just leave it until the end in the Q&A section. Just make sure that your audio is muted so that we can just have our, you can just listen to us, and we kind of respect everyone in the lobby. And then, you know, at the same time, if you feel like you need to go, it's good, it's okay as well. You can drop off anytime you need. Just maybe here until the workshop, you might want to set up the AWS account or set up Postman, because we'll be using both in the workshop today. And if you have that already, that's fine. And if you don't really want to, you could just hang around and vibe with us until the very end, and you can send us an email or something like that if you want to know a little bit more. So let's start with an introduction. Oh, one other thing is I posted a form in the chat. It's basically just to gauge attendance, and also just to understand whether or not you're interested in like perhaps having us contact you after this. So if you're interested, please fill it out. And yeah, it'll be really good. Even if you're not interested, it'll be nice for us to see. Like we hold like hackathons every year, or actually every half a year, and then perhaps like have boot camps here and there as well that you guys may be interested in joining, and it would be good for your resume as well. Okay, so Accenture. So yeah, we are in a big family called Accenture, and we're global. So I think there's like about 500,000 employees around the world. We are a consulting firm, so we do provide professional services to our clients, and we have a lot of different operating groups, and we provide them specialized services that will help them transform their whole company and structure, etc. Yeah, so this is on a global level. So we have countries, we have like offices all over the world. I'm currently in Sydney, and we're all based off Sydney, Myeong Chong. So we're dealing more with like Australian clients, but we do have some American clients, Japanese clients, etc. Just a few stats here. We do work with 89 of the Fortune 100 clients, and about 3/4 of the Fortune 500 clients we're also working with. We've helped about over 1.7 million people to gain skills, and then we want to help more than 3 million people by the end of 2022. We do use the most cutting edge technology, all these buzzwords. I don't like them either, but cutting edge technologies to provide our strategies and solutions. And then we want to make change. So I want to make sure that all our clients are, all our clients are actually changing in the right direction, and they're more future proof. Yeah. So next slide is, we do expertise in multiple industries. So we have like comms, media, and technology. So like big mobile broadcasting stations, can't tell you who, electronics, media, entertainment, and then we have some financial services, so banks and insurance companies, health and public services, so we work with the government as well, certain products, so freight services, travel services, consumer goods, etc., what you can think of, and then resources such as like chemical companies or energy companies, etc. There are 5 big houses in between our family. There's Accenture Strategy, where we kind of focus on shaping our clients' futures and then like trying to change them into a more future-proof strategic structure. There's consulting, so we just make sure that each of our clients can actually compete in the digital world that we're kind of going towards. There's interactive, so that these are more like the UX, UI, making sure that everyone is, all those products that they're building is very up to date. Technology is where MyWizard AI Ops sits, and we just make sure that all of the clients are equipped with the most updated technology, and then operations, or the support stuff, and operations, infrastructure processes, etc. What is not here is Accenture Security. So we do have another section for security. I believe there are some changes to this, and some of them has been merged, but yeah, generally these are the 6 core families for Accenture. We do have a big focus on inclusion and diversity. So we are embracing people with all the different LGBTIs, female, male kind of balance. So we do strive to make sure that everyone is feeling very comfortable in the workplace. And I think we're trying to push for a 50-50 for gender equality, but we've reached about like 42% female global workforce. So that's pretty impressive. And yeah, so our core values are Corvus. So we have client value creation, one global network, respect for the individual, less people, integrity, and stewardship. Yeah. So what is MyWizard AI Ops? So this is where Chung and I come in. Our team is called MyWizard AI Ops. We are also global. So we basically use machine learning, data analytics, and DevOps to provide our clients value. So technically we build products, may it be monitoring or automation or intelligent services. Just generally all, we do a lot of very technical stuff, and that's actually Accenture. Even though we're a consulting firm, we kind of do build product, and our team actually does build a product to help out with all the different consulting client engagements that we have. I would read this, but I feel like you guys would get really bored. So I'm going to skip this. So how do we actually deliver it? We deliver it with 3 different methods. So intelligent monitoring, like I mentioned earlier. So that is to get all the data from the clients and actually monitor to make sure that nothing goes wrong. And if it does, then we kind of communicate that to the clients itself. And then we have the data fabric. So basically just bring everything through machine learning based clustering, and then also just making sure that we can find like stuff like the root cause analysis, or find like probabilistic analysis and detect anomaly kind of things. And then last thing is human and machine automation, which is something that Chung and I are working on, which is a product called ATR, and we do automation for service desk users. Cool. Here is a very rough or high level view on what we actually do in terms of the blueprint. So there's 2 kind of main focus, which is domain centric, where data collects themselves, and then we put it into a certain area or location where, and then we just do analysis on that, or domain agnostic, where we rely on other tools to get these data. And yeah, these are just 3 main things. So it's like, as you can see here, more manual stuff is like more for the automation, where we're kind of like monitoring it ourselves, and then domain centric is where the data collects itself. You'd be able to see, our products collects data itself, and then domain agnostic is where our data is collected by in the third-party tool, for example, ServiceNow and Jira, Salesforce, etc. So jumping right into the concepts of cloud, what is cloud? So the cloud concept is where you don't maintain a server, and you have a third-party company maintain the service for you, and you're just basically paying for a segment of their servers. So they will be the ones that handles the infrastructure and the resources, and instead of you having to buy servers and everything, you basically just get someone else to do all the hard stuff. When you see here, like there's different cloud models and how you can actually use cloud on your platform. So you can do, the most basic one is like the on-premise, where you handle everything yourself. The next one is like infrastructure as a service. So then you can have a part of your stack monitored by another company, for example, Microsoft, and then you manage the rest. So then this would be infrastructure as a service. But say if you have a little bit more, your application, you just handle all your application and data, and you use everything else on cloud, that would be a platform as a service. And then if you store everything on the cloud, then that would be a software as a service. So an example of a software as a service would be, I believe Salesforce is software as a service. And you just, Gmail is a software as a service. So, everything is just handled in the cloud. Yeah, so I think another analogy would be having your own car is an on-premise solution. If you lease your car as an infrastructure, if you hire a taxi, that's a platform as a service, and then SaaS, software as a service, would be like a bus. Why do we want cloud? So cloud is, if you do put your solutions on cloud, it's very scalable and it's very elastic. So like it really depends on what you need, instead of actually settling and guessing what you need. If you put everything on cloud, you can build as you go. It's also very secure because everything is handled off by a third party. It's cost effective, so you're actually only paying for what you use. It's highly available, so when a server goes down, there's also another server that kind of like is there as a backup, and that's all handled by this third-party company. And the performance is very high. So I think AWS has different, like 11 different regions. Am I wrong? I think quite a lot of regions globally. And like they just based off US itself, they have like 4, but my stats may be wrong. So yeah, so there's like more than 175 services as of 2020 in AWS. I won't go into details, but we will be using a few. And yeah, with Accenture and cloud, we're kind of going through this cloud first global initiative, and we're trying to move all our engagements and there's like a 3 billion investment to move everything into cloud. And we want to have a lot of ease for innovation and transformation, especially during this pandemic where there's just so many industries have been disrupted. So yeah, this is one of the initiatives that has been pushed out as a result. And we are solutioning with cloud service providers such as AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. And yeah, this is for transformation and innovation, better security, and then good migration, and also it's very data centric. So I'll pass it now to Chong, where we will go through how we can get you guys to confuse and lose your friends. Don't take it seriously.
What an intro. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, hey guys. So we'll be doing a demo for you on how to rapidly prototype a serverless application. Maybe Jack, you could answer the questions in the chat while I'll just go through the preso. In the type of work we do, especially in the agile landscape, it's really valuable to prototype ideas quickly, push them out, get a bit of feedback, and then just iterate off that. So we'll be demonstrating effectively a serverless backend stack. So from the previous slide, we saw old mate Kanye. What we're going to do is, from a broader picture, we're going to create an API using some of the AWS services. And this API will hit another API called Kanye REST, a very, very good open source API that will deliver us Kanye quotes. We're going to integrate a few other components within the AWS ecosystem, and we're actually going to send out an SMS. And yeah, I think I'll get started on rapid prototyping. Let me just share my screen. Dude, this is, oh, wait. Yeah, actually, let's go through the rest of the slides first, and then we'll go into the preso, I guess. So yeah, so the task at hand, what we're going to do here for the next few minutes. We're going to create a serverless function. We're going to use a service called AWS Lambda, and that is it's a pretty interesting service if people have played around with it. It's for stateless and serverless code execution. Normally, when we write code, I mean, we're deploying it on our local environment or on a server somewhere. We still need that base infrastructure. So, you know, your operating system, and even dependency management, before we actually can run and execute, or before we can actually execute anything. So Lambda allows us to focus on things from a functional aspect, and it'll be a bit more apparent in the demo, but you can write code without really worrying about, you know, do I have to keep my server on all the time? From that, we're going to tie up this Lambda to an API gateway, which we'll discuss a little bit further. And this allows us to have an entry point so that people anywhere in the world can call our Kanye REST API. And another breakdown for the task is we'll have a integration with another AWS service called SNS. It'll be very quick out of the box, where we can send text messages to any mobile number. Maybe next slide. Cool. Yeah, are there any questions, I suppose, on how we're going to be doing the demo? And yeah, feel free. Any other questions that we could ask, answer, or even just talk shit? That's why we're here for. Yeah, so there's kind of a few advantages, I guess, before we start on this type of architecture. When we build apps, like a Flask application, we call those monolithic style applications. So when you're developing on your local machine, it just sits there on your machine. So there's some restrictions with actually doing this. First thing, I mean, you've got to have your environment set up. You've got to have a server somewhere to run. And with those two, if you just want to run like a super simple function, test it out, there's kind of a lot of setup and a lot of out of the box config that you've got to do. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You have more control. But if we want to focus on kind of pushing it out as quickly as we can, the serverless architecture has a lot of benefits. I think one of the key that Jackie mentioned before is you don't need to turn your server on all the time. The benefits of Lambda is when you want to call your API, you only charge and it only invokes once that event triggers. So maybe in another course that you have, instead of building Flask applications, you could look at serverless design patterns. Cool, I guess we'll go next slide. Yeah, I guess a little bit more on more on the breakdown. But yeah, we'll go through all of the components. An API, it's an application processing interface. It's effectively a point of abstraction to allow a party to interact with the consumer. So we're going to be creating a REST API. It uses HTTP protocol, and this particular structure is just very common in industry to have RESTful APIs. Makes it a little bit easier for remote parties to trigger code, and it allows us to decentralize things. So we're going to write some code, and we're going to have an API gateway to set it all up. Yes, next slide. Bit of context. SNS is the simple notification service for AWS. It implements the publisher subscriber pattern that allows you to subscribe to what they call a topic, which is a interface for sending communications. So you could do stuff like send emails. You could send, what if you could do fax? You could send SMS, which is what we'll be doing here. So I think the common trend that we're doing here is we're just leveraging existing services to simplify our actual functionality a lot. And it's out of the box. So you'll see, I think we can do our whole Prezo in under 20 lines of code or something. Let's go to the next one. We touched upon this briefly for Lambda. Just wondering if you've done any of this stuff before for AWS, post it in the chat. And yeah, plus what your experience is with this. And Lambda, as I discussed before, is AWS's function as a service platform and allows you to just execute code in a stateless way, and you don't really need to focus on the server implementation. The job for our Lambda function is the code component. We're going to be calling another API, and we're going to get the response and then send it out somewhere. Cool, cool. Let's, we still have a bit more context. API gateway is an entry point to tie in different access for AWS. We'll use API gateway to actually structure our REST API, and then we'll tie it to a Lambda function so that when we make a request through Postman later, we can actually trigger the execution that we want. Cool, cool. Let's go next slide. And okay, now I guess it's my turn to share the screen. And yeah, we'll be a chill sesh. I wonder if you could set, can you set music in Zoom? You can put lo-fi or something. Dude, it's the authentic experience. I think, Jack, you have to switch off yours. Yeah. Cool. Let me know, guys, if I'm sharing my screen.
Yep, we can see it.
Awesome, thank you. Can you see a VS Code?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sweet, good. I mean, it'd be embarrassing if you saw my YouTube or other tabs. Okay, cool. So this really isn't necessary as a part of the workshop. We're just going to run you through a really simple example and kind of show you how easy it is to get started with AWS to build like a rapid prototype. So I guess I'll do a quick demo because I've got a pre-built solution, and then we'll kind of work backwards on how to do it. So at the end of the day, we've finished our demo, and we have this API. And when I click send here, it's going to get me a Kanye quote. Then it's going to send it to my mobile. So I'm just going to do this. Dude, live demos, man, still gets me. And I'll share. I'll do the olden day way of sharing screen. Oh, it's horrendous. But I get a few SMSs from Lambda. I think at the end of the tutorial, for whoever brave souls want, maybe send your SMS or your phone number in the chat, and I'll try to send you a Kanye West quote. That could be exciting. Cool. So let's get started. Cool, cool, cool. So as we discussed before, we want to create a Lambda function. Lambda function, this does all our logic. So I'd like to create a function called hello UNSW or hello CSE or CSE test. We'll use Python 3.7. Use whatever version of Python you want. I think Python 2 is deprecated. No, long may Python 2 live. And we're going to create it. Give it some time. Cool. So this function actually doesn't do much at the moment. This is all we have here. So we have import JSON and this weird function here called a handler. In Lambda, when you execute this function, when you execute this Lambda function rather, it executes this method for Python and gives it event and context. These are special dictionaries provided by AWS. The event tells us a little bit on who triggered this function, and the context has the context is a special object that has context related to the operation itself. So perhaps the time taken, concurrency related stats. So what does it actually do at the moment? We're just mocking, we're just trying to test, we're mocking our event. True. Cool, cool, cool. So this guy doesn't really do much. Let's print some stuff here. Print event. And let's deploy our change and test. Cool. So we have just here response status 200 hello from Lambda. It's this guy. And from our mocked event here, we have our print statement, our event. Cool, cool. So I think as you can see, it was pretty easy to just get started and write stuff. How about we do something a little bit more intense than just printing out a dictionary? Let's actually request a API. So the API that we're going to use is called F. Can I get this up, please? It's called the Kanye Rest API. So we're going to get quotes from old mate, and when we hit this API, it just gives us a different quote. So you hit this particular access modifier with a get, and off we go. So let's do this. We're going to do import response, request rather. Requests.get, very standard. Cool. Yep, this looks good. And let's print this. So who reckons this is going to work out of the box? It's kind of standard Python. Any betting people here? Dude, lo-fi beats to code relax too. That's a good one. I respect that. Nathan, don't think it will? Won't work? I won't mislead you guys, right? Oh, let me charge my laptop. Surely it's this easy. And nah, it's going to cook itself. So the reason why is for Lambda, you've got to manage your dependencies in a different way. So I'll show how to effectively create a deployment package. So let me create a new one, because this is cheating. So there's a pretty standard way of doing a build in Lambda. And one of the ways that you can do it is you can set virtual environments. You could build your dependencies and then you ship it out. So I'm just going to show you how I would do it. Then we could all laugh as I already have one of you. Cool, cool, cool. Standard Python 3 venv. PyEnv is pretty good too. Just going to use this. Sick. So very, very standard Python stuff. Also, any questions on what I'm doing? Definitely. What am I doing right now? I'm creating a deployment package. Right, cool. Standard way that we normally activate our Venv. And let's copy this guy. Oh, nope, nope. First thing gone wrong. Cool, 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 cool. So import, not import requests. Quickly install requests. Sweet. And we're going to do this for later. Let this download, kind of chill. Sweet. How good's Python? Cool, 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 cool. So this is how we can actually build a deployment package. It's really simple. If I could remember what I called my virtual environment. Does anyone remember what I did? I don't have long beats. That's fine. Okay, let's see the tutorial. CC. Oh, I know what happened. It's in here, isn't it? Did I lose it?
No, it's there.
It's there?
Bottom right.
Bottom right? Ah, thanks, dude. I should CP this, actually. Just trying to see this. Okay, that's good. Cool. So after a long delay, you can see that we have requests and we have Bodo that we just installed from our virtual environment. Let's just save this guy and let's call it, of course, traditional. Let's call, oh, no, we have to call it hello world. Yep, we've got to call this guy. And the way how we build it is our hello world here? Should be. Site packages. Can people see if the hello world is included here? Maybe I'll just save as. I would admit defeat. So the way how we do it is you can copy it inside your site packages. Cool. I think we're running a little bit over time. And we can run this command and we'll zip everything in our site packages under this deployment.zip with the hello world file that we have before just here. So we'll give out a bit. Sweet. How's the demo going so far? I think not too bad. We're going to upload a zip file. Speed it up a bit. And you save it. That's how we get our dependencies, Python dependencies in particular. There's a few ways that you can optimize this. There's things called lambda layers, but for the time being, we'll just show it like that. Cool. And let's test it. And why did this guy fail? Yeah, of course. So we need to tell Lambda where it's invoking from. The handlers here, it says, I'm looking for a file Lambda function, and the method Lambda handler, we called our Python module _world. Let's do that again. Failed again. Is it not included? Well, _world dot Lambda handler. Maybe the function itself cooked itself. I'm going to cheat and go to my other Lambda. Figure out what's up. You work. Test dot Lambda handler. Okay, I'm going to rebuild it. Maybe it was the underscores. CP hello world. Hello world. Let's just call it test. Rebuild. I have a working demo, but certainly more fun just to laugh at me for breaking, right? Okay. Let's try it again. This whole experience would be nice if we had background music and elevated music. And let's try this. No, we don't need to use a new runtime. With? Okay, cool. Well, we got our function to work. And we have our first controversial Kanye quote. Somehow I've copied the working solution in. Test. Oh, no, I know what I've done. Yep, okay, it's to do with the deployment package. So yeah, we've got our Lambda function to work within the deployment package. So yeah, we can get Kanye quotes now. We can post them. Does anyone have kind of any questions on what happened? So yeah, it's a simple Python function. This is all it does. So we're going to do a few things now. What we're going to do is we're going to go to API gateway. And actually, no, before we do that, we want to send an SMS. So sending an SMS is really simple with SNS, an AWS service. It's a paid service that we referred to earlier in the presentation. So maybe you guys want to create a bot for yourself that like SMSs you if there's a deal for Black Friday coming up soon. You could pretty easily build it with SNS if that's the integration that you want. Dude, I just want to spam to see if, like what controversial Kanye quote we can get. I get up drinking every week. Dude, can't relate. Yeah, so in SNS, we're going to use the Boto library that we imported before. And it's actually very simple on how to integrate it. In fact, it happens in under, technically, 2 lines of Python code. So in this example, I'll show a little bit later, it takes in a parameter, and that parameter is our phone number. And then it sends from Lambda your Kanye quote. So in 3 lines, we've kind of integrated this service. It sends it without a topic. It's just the default. So we don't even need to instantiate anything on SNS, which is pretty sick. So what are the things that we've done so far? We've built our Lambda function, we've built our deployment package, and we've now set up SMS integration. So we're getting there, We just have one last thing to do. How do people in the world actually access this? And yeah, it's a little tricky, but how is it done? So we are going to create an integration. We have this service called API Gateway. And as you referenced before, it's just an entry point so that we can build APIs and tie them to our Lambdas. So you can imagine, like, what's the contrast with a Flask application, perhaps? You can build your endpoints individually as Lambdas. So that way you can have like really micro architecture. And this is really what the serverless paradigm is focused on. So let's create one of these APIs. We want to go to this guy, a REST API. Let's build one. Let's call a new one. Let's say hello CSE. Nothing sus. And we're going to create it. So in a REST API, endpoints are access modifiers to a resource. So we are going to create a resource. We can technically opt it out. You can just create your method, really. Let's call it get method on the root. And I want a Lambda function. We want to tick this that allows Lambda to get all of the info from gateway. And what did I call our guy? Hello CSE test. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's save this. Yep. So on top of creating our Lambdas, it actually instantiates something called a role. AWS has a lot of IAM access controls for secure deployment in the cloud. You can customize it, and this role is particular for the Lambda. I won't go into it too much, but there's some very interesting things you can do with that. So cool. Yep. What we're going to do is we're going to test what this does. We're going to run it. Oh, yep. It's missing some input parameters. That should be good. I think we'll get to this later, but now we've like hooked up our API effectively, and I'm going to deploy it. Let's just say new stage test and deploy. So now we have our API here, all done. So I'd like to use this API. How can I do that? So if I execute it, it's going to complain. That's fine, because I think the input parameter is a variable. So I'm just going to replace this with our new one. And I've set in Postman. Postman's a really useful service. I tend to use it daily on triggering REST APIs. So hopefully, if I click send, it's going to say hello from Lambda. No, classic. Everything burning. Well, I'm going to use this one, the one that I prepped before. And it's going to tell us hello from Lambda. So effectively, what this setup is, I had this setup before for a different API gateway, and it says with this, you can send an API with a parameter request. I'll give this link to you in the chat, and maybe you can try it out try not to spam it, but enter your number in like the AU format, international. So 61, blah, 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 blah. And just for fun, tell us in the chat what you got for your Kanye quote. So I think we're nearing the end of like our demo here, but hopefully this demo teaches you a few things at the very least of be scared of live demos. No, and yeah, let's be like water. Dude, that's good stuff. Thanks, Kanye. Yeah, well, I think that's our demo here. Our demo here for you.
Can I get the screen back? So I just close it off.
That's good. Thanks, guys.
Cool. I just share my screen for the final bit. Yeah. So yeah, we are here to also talk about graduate position opportunities. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that workshop by Chong. Thanks, Chong. But yeah, we're here to also talk about graduate position opportunities. So if you're interested in like working with us or want to learn more about us, we definitely have this available for you. So we are hiring for MyWizard, but if you're also keen for like Accenture itself, like happy for you guys to tell us, and we'll see how it goes. But if you want to work with us and our team, basically MyWizard is a fresh team. We have a lot of young young employees. That is, our team is pretty young, like, and we do a vast majority of different type of work. And we really want to upskill and train like our team to be more well-versed in everything. So we're looking for computer science and engineering graduates for 2021. But if you are even available, like, oh yeah, just 2021, it's a few months off. If you are good with problem solving and good with taking initiatives, really like working well in teams and great communication skills, like you are the one. We are looking for you. So definitely do apply. The way the roles we have is that you can do backend with us. So we do Java, Python. We do our we package through Docker, and then we also use Ansible and CI/CD pipelines for our application deployment. We have front end as well. So if you know React, Node, or JavaScript, that's very helpful. We also have a deployment team. So these will be helping our clients do all the deployment and making our applications work for clients, integrate it with them, and also have these people will also need to have technical abilities and soft skills, and you need to know how to learn quickly. Other skills that may be helpful is AWS, Linux, and Splunk, and Python. I've added the Google form into the chat. I'll put it again after this, and basically fill it out if you're interested. Even if you're not interested and you just want to do some hackathon related stuff, feel free to also post, you fill in that form, and we'll just like keep you updated about everything that you need to know. Yeah, down the line, Austin will send us, like you could also send it through to Austin, your CV, your resume. And then the way we're going to do is once we've received your interest, we'll send you a test. And then if you pass a test, you do a round of interviews. And then if you're lucky, you can get in with us. But yeah, that's pretty much all. Would like to stop there, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, and then we can pretty much help you guys if you need. Yes, young kids. Yeah, email in the chat, but I think it's ideal if you fill out the form. Yeah, pretty much the form and the email is pretty much the same thing, and I think the form might be better. Deadline for the grad applications, to be honest, no, but ideally like ASAP, probably at the end, until the end of the year. We're just processing a lot of applications now, so I think it's better to get in quick. And yeah, if we don't get it before like December or something like that, it might be a bit too late. Oh my God, I think I just sent it to one person. Oh, good. So if you're interested in internship, the Google form also supports it. So you can fill out the Google form, and then if we have internship opportunities, we'll contact you as well. So I'll just give you another. I'll just generate another link. I'm pretty bad at this. Cool. Yeah. Yep. So I just posted the Google form in there as well. If you're interested in grad positions, please send it to Austin. But everything else can go through the Google form, and then we'll contact you and keep you guys in contact. But yeah, any other questions? If not, I'll hand it back to Vicky.
Yeah, thanks so much. That was a really interesting presentation, and also the demo. Demo is always hard. They're hard the best of times. But it was really interesting. So thank you so much, Chong. Yeah, thank you for both. And yeah, as I said, apply. It's a really great place to work. I really enjoyed my time there. So would definitely recommend. Also, I know we have some people that might be more international, like international students. So I'm not sure how it works. Do you accept international students into your programs as well?
Yeah, we do have like a few of us are international students, so I think they don't even have PR. I think they're just on work visa. I don't know. But yeah, we do accept international students. If you're technically capable as well, like we don't discriminate against that. I think there's another thing that I was trying to mention. Oh, we have a hackathon running in January, and we'll also screen there as well. So yeah, apply for that if you're interested as well.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, guys. I think I'll stop the recording there. Thanks everybody for coming on, and good luck with exams.
Yeah, good luck with exams, guys. Bye.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, John. I'll end the call now. Bye.